Growing at breakneck speed has two consequences. First is you're not really profiting because you're chasing so much growth.
Kumusta mga kakwentuhan? Jay Olos here and welcome to One CFO's Kwentuhan podcast. In this episode, we showcase the stories of amazing founders, entrepreneurs, top finance and accounting professionals, industry leaders, and emerging technologies and solutions that can help you succeed in your business. At maganda po ang episode natin today dahil sa special guest natin. Ang guest natin today ay isang expert sa business turnaround, revenue growth management. Kaya niyang baguhin from loss-making business to a highly profitable business ang mga negosyo nyo. So without much further ado, let's all welcome our guest for this episode. He was the Chief Financial Officer of AirAsia Philippines and was instrumental in the company's remarkable turnaround from a severe pandemic-driven crisis. At hindi lang yan, he also has an impressive track record of driving significant growth for brands in the FMCG or fast-moving consumer goods industry. Today, he's also a fractional CFO at his own firm, Practical Finance. So, without much further ado, please welcome Mr. Jared Balarao. Great to have you here, Jared.
Thank you, Jay. Maraming salamat for inviting me here.
Yes, finally. So, just para sa ating mga kakwentuhan, no? So, Jared and I dates back ages ago. So, nung
Up to
estudyante pa lang
decades pa,
kami.
no?
So, sige. But I will let Jared narrate, no? His own story. So, first question, Sir Jared. Sino ba ang isang Jared Balarao? Can you tell us your story?
I grew up in Quiapo, Arlegui, and we've been there for like, if hundreds, if not thousands of years. I date my genealogy as far as Raha Lacandula of Tondo.
Wow.
My great-grandfather and his father is Isabelo Lacandola Tampinco and Vidal
Wow.
Tampinco. You would find them in the National Museum. Unfortunately, I did not inherit any of their talents.
Yun
So,
lang.
and ano siya, so we just went straight to business because you see, I am quite sure everyone who has been in the Philippines, who has been in Manila is very familiar with Quiapo.
Yeah.
I would say it's a slice of opportunity or a reflection of high risk, high reward.
Hmm.
Yan.
So,
And
ikaw pala yung totoong batang Quiapo.
batang Quiapo
Hindi
talaga.
FPJ yun. Si Coco Martin. Nasa harap po natin ang totoong batang Quiapo. Kasi just to share with you mga kakwentuhan, I met Jared during our college years, no? So we're both from PSBA. Jared's from PSBA Manila and I am from PSBA QC together with si Boss Lim, no? So, but may commonality kami. Brad kami neto to JP. Naging presidente namin to ng national chapter. So let's go down memory lane, parang Jared, no? So I'm just curious, what motivated you to take up accountancy?
Gusto ko yumaman.
Yung mga,
Seryoso.
Okay.
So, in college, I really have a deep inclination in medicine. Like, I really love medicine. I really love science. And then, growing up in Quiapo, you face realities eh. Na para, okay, so if you become a doctor, your heart goes out to your patients.
Yeah.
And I have friends na who were in medicine. And ano talaga, as in, well, they came from, well-off families. I mean, better position than ours. And nag-a-advance sila ng pera pare sa mga pasyente nila. Nothing bad about it. It's really, good and true. But at the same time, I said that I have to look out after myself. I want to help people, but from a position of strength.
Mm.
I cannot help someone if I myself needed a lot of help.
Mm.
And I said na parang I want to pursue business. And if I want to pursue business, where else can I actually, be an effective businessman if I know accounting?
That's true.
When I was in college, I like accounting, but I don't love it.
Mm.
I see accounting as a means to an end. But at the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur. And when we were in JPA, and this is actually my biggest thing in JPA. So I was the president of the National Federation, no?
Mm.
And PSBAQs is one of the best local chapters.
Oh, thank you.
During our time, it's one of the best local chapters.
Yeah. Shout out sa mga job ya, MOLC pa.
Yes, most outstanding local chapter. But you cannot really say the same for all others, obviously, because you're the most outstanding local chapter. And especially at the national level where everything is somewhat blurred between which loyalty are you in. Therefore, nag-suffer the national
Yeah.
organization. Pwede na siguro natin sabihin
Yeah, sure.
to
I mean, it
during
happens not only to JPA but across all other
all
organizations.
other
Yeah,
organizations na nagkakaroon ng deficit,
yeah.
nagkakaroon ng mga unpaid debts. The national president now of PICPA, which is Sir Jerry San
Mm.
Victores, he was our advisor.
Nasa SGV pa siya nun.
Nasa SGP pa siya
Correct,
nun.
naral.
He was the
Oo.
HR partner. And he was telling me na, you're so active in the organization. How would you have time for your studies? He told me na, magbibigay ako sa'yo ng offer. If pumasa ka ng board, one take. Sabi ko naman, grabe
Oh.
ko naman, sir. Nag-aaral na pala. But in a way, it's a challenge kasi during in that the same conversation, we were discussing about, closing down NF.
Talaga? Umabot
Sobrang
sa gano'n?
umabot sa gano'n because
Di ko alam yun, ah.
umabot sa gano'n because ang daming utang. And then there's always like this issue about, mismanaged funds. Kasi syempre siguro bata at iba-iba yung
Yeah.
sources of funds, iba-iba yung form of remittance. Siguro sabi nung peak pa, we don't want this headache anymore. And sabi ko kay GBS, sir, GBS, baka pa pwedeng give us a chance. And that was a time that, PNA came in and told us na, you know what, whatever resources that you need, you can use our facilities. And sabi ko na, okay, I loaned 50,000 pesos from GBS. I think it came from his own pocket. He just said that, you have to pay me within the first quarter. And we did pay him. Ang ginawa namin, I'm not sure kung naalala mo pa yun, parang Jay, yung Review School Festival, di ba?
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was saying na parang ba't kami attend ng event? Meron ng
Oo, time natin yun. Nag-change from SFAS to PFRS na. Oo.
Yes.
That was our time.
And binago natin yung format ng conventions at even yung mga events. I mean, hindi naman natin sinasabi na boring yung discussion. But let's just say na parang syempre kapag gano'n medyo intimidating kasi yung mga matatalino yung mga nag-uusap eh. Pero you have to face it. Accounting students, they need something more relatable, more
Yeah.
interesting, more engaging so that they would understand ano yung
Yes.
pinag-aaralan nila eh. And that's actually where we came in. So pinagkakitaan natin yan in short.
Oo.
And you know what, Jay, at the end of our term, you were able to pay all of those debts.
Wow.
And then we portioned, hinati natin yung pera ng NF.
Actually, ngayon ko lang nalaman yan, Jared, kasi I've known Jared really to be a CFO. May problema ka into revenue growth management and turning around. But I didn't realize na college days pa lang pala, nagagawa mo na yun, no? So, it's really CFO material, yung kaharap po natin ngayon.
Salamat.
So now, let's now move siguro one chapter later, no? So, after you pass the board, what happened then? Can you walk us through your career journey naman?
I went to PNA and at the same time, talagang inalagaan talaga nila tayo dun sa NF and malaki yung tinanaw natin na utang na loob. After that, nakita ko na parang, okay, this is how we do the audit, no? And in terms of audit and assurance, I would say top level. We look at materiality and look for material discrepancies. Otherwise, if there are no material discrepancies, we issue an unqualified opinion.
Reasonable assurance.
Reasonable assurance.
Yeah.
And doon natin siya nakita na parang, okay, kung reasonable assurance, how would you say that, if you gave an unqualified opinion today, paano siya tomorrow? And of course, audit opened our eyes. And sabi ko na parang, I want something deeper. So I went to Bangko Sentral. We were fortunate enough to join Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. I was a bank examiner. And with Bangko Sentral kasi, with the diligence required, to do regulatory audit, there is that, certain exercise of compliance testing. And at the same time, financial modeling. Like, if you would stress test a particular bank, how adequate will be their capital, how will they, survive these kinds of stress tests. And I was saying na parang, okay, medyo happy ako dito kasi nandito na satisfy the technical know-how and like parang ito yung dapat na ginagawa when you audit eh. I'm not saying na iba yung sa sa external audit. Like, I mean, na hindi satisfactory yung ginagawa sa external audit. Satisfactory yon. Pero syempre, iba kapag Bangko Sentral, iba when you're actually safeguarding the economy
Yeah.
right? There's a different type of diligence.
Meron kang responsibility talaga, no?
Correct.
Kasi it's a public trust eh.
It is.
Banking system yan, okay.
Iba yung binibigay na reliance ng mga tao for public officials
Mhm.
and public servants. Kami yung public servants.
Yeah, yeah.
However, sabi ko after almost half a decade in government service, sabi ko na parang gusto ko yumaman eh.
Mm.
And I mean, gusto ko yumaman in a way na parang, I want to have my own business, I want to have my own company. But there's wala namang handbook na, sige, in order for you to be a CEO or in order for you to be a good founder, eto yan eh, ABC. Sabi nga ni Robert Kiyosaki, education, experience, exposure. Those are the three things that will
Three
teach you.
E's,
The three E's.
Oh.
So may education tayo, accountant. Pero sabi nga nila, kailangan mo, dapat ba mag-aral ako ng marketing? Dapat ba mag-aral ako ng sales? And sabi ko na, I've been selling all my life.
Yeah.
You're selling your ideas
When
to
you're
your peers.
pitching during NFJP, di ba?
Yes,
Yeah,
you're selling.
Yeah.
When you're trying to win an election, you're selling
Yeah.
yourself. And then of course, marketing na parang how can I be effective in terms of communicating my brand, my value, my service to That's something that I think BSP is not going to teach me. It's not going to teach me how to be part of the larger economy, to contribute more to the economy
Mm.
as a capitalist. So I went out of that and I pursued several, high impact roles in pursuing that experience.
Naalala ko lang, ako yung pumalit sa'yo sa Citibank.
Yes,
Di ba?
yes, pare.
Shout out kina Sheila.
Naalala ko pa sila Jamo. Actually, shout out kila Jojo Amores.
Yes, Jojo Amores. Yes. Trisha.
Sila Trisha inuturan.
Yeah. Oh.
When I left, pinadala ako ni Jamo sa isang parang retreat. Hanggang ngayon dala-dala ko yung it's part of my philosophy, yung retreat na yun. And I actually carried it through from as an analyst up to me being a CFO, me being, in FMCG as head of commercial, head of revenue growth management, and now, having my own practice. Ano yan, sila Sir Frank Rehis yan. He was mentor to many CEOs, and there's this, napakasimple lang pero
Ito ba
very
yung sa Mount
profound.
Banahaw?
Ito yung sa Mount Banahaw.
Yun, shout out kay Sir Frank. I have a forgettable experience din doon.
Diba?
Spiritual, pare. Ganon yung level nung awakening ko doon.
Programming, 'di ba, sinasabi nila Sir Frank, na parang tipong in order for you to learn something, you have to address the programming in your head.
Yes, that's true.
And it's not something na parang you just do one time. It's parang tipong whenever you have biases, you have opinions, you have to test, whether these are actually good or bad, or dapat nga ba should we still maintain that stance or not, given that there are new data that's coming in, day out. And that's one, and yung pinaka-importante for me is yung linis loob, linis labas. And it's something na parang I always say na agility and clarity. If you are clear in your intentions, in your objectives, you'd be able to actually navigate better on where you want to go. And it may be tough. There's no such thing as, a very easy path, especially if it's something worth taking. But you are clear in your intention, in your goals, in your objectives. Na, okay, I want to pursue this because I have the capacity to do this, and I have that temperance to actually endure so that I would be able to reach that goal.
I have a follow-up question dyan. Kasi siguro ako rin, included, I exactly know what I want to do during those years. But there are some folks who've been experiencing, especially during those age, na parang yung quarter life crisis na tinatawag. So, hindi nila alam ano yung gagawin nila, saan sila papunta. Ano yung ma-advise mo dun sa mga, especially baka may mga listeners tayo ngayon na they're also CPAs, they don't know ano bang future ko dito, mga ganyan. So, especially for both of us na we're CFOs, no? So, anong ma-advise mo sa kanila?
My advice to our listeners, especially those who's trying to find their path, you have your education already. Use that education to get experience.
Right.
Even if you think it's mundane, maybe there's a purpose. You want to find that purpose. You want to find a good mentor who would actually guide you into saying na, what you're doing actually is something that, that builds on to across time. And then from that, you will be prepared to do what's next. That's the first. And the second is you have to prioritize your health. That's something na parang I hope I learned sooner.
Yes.
And there was this ano, parang I think it was Jack Ma who said this,
Mm.
na parang in your 20s it was time to explore,
Oh, yeah, yung 20s,
right?
30s and all,
'Di
yes.
ba? Na parang 20s you have time to explore, but you want to learn, you have to have a very deep sense of learning, especially in
Mm,
your 20s. And in your 30s, it was time to explore.
yeah,
'Di ba? That's the perfect time for you to chase your entrepreneurial pursuits if you
right.
have, right? And in your 40s, that's a time that you're trying to solidify na
Yeah,
what you have actually planted in
right.
your 20s.
Wow, that's very enlightening. I hope, marami kayong natutunan do'n. Para sa mga wala pang alam kung saan sila ano yung path nila, expose niyo lang yung sarili ninyo, get more experiences and find a mentor. Hindi ako magiging ako si Jay Olos ngayon na Jay Olos ngayon kung hindi rin dahil sa mga mentors na tumulong din sa akin along the way. Nung time natin na from Big Four, usong-uso yung after ng Big Four mag-a-abroad
Yeah.
diretso.
Yes.
Kaso nagkaroon GFC, Global Financial Crisis, so medyo nag-stop yung recruitment. Bumalik siya mga late 2009, 2010. So, isa ako sa mga naiwan sa batch ko dito sa Pilipinas. So, I was feeling like, napapag-iwanan ako, anong gagawin ko, ganito, ganyan. Little did I know na may pinlan pala na path para sa akin. No? I just basically learn as much as I can doing the job and also getting mentored by people that I really look up to. So yun. So now let's take a leap forward on your Colgate Palmolive days, no?
Oh,
So very impressive for me kasi sa totoo lang pare, dream company ko 'yan. Yung
oh,
mga P&G, Colgate Palmolive. So I think you were the head of revenue growth at Colgate Palmolive at some point in time where you helped achieve them record sales and market share, no? So what are the specific like money related and sales strategies, maybe pricing, di ko alam, no? What products to sell or how to reach more customers na naging key to success during your time, and what can you share to us about revenue growth management para especially sa mga listeners natin na uh, posible baka first time nila na naririnig to pero sa CFO circle alam natin to di ba?
yes. Revenue growth management has a different interpretations and iterations even within the FMCG industry. If you would describe it, say, to the hotel industry, to the airline industry, iba din. Iba yung methodology, iba yung interpretation. But everything boils down to, revenue growth.
Mm,
One of the most effective about our approach in revenue growth management at Colgate during that time is about focusing on volume
volume.
and at the same time making sure that the pricing holds.
Mm,
So, people would say na parang why would 'di ba nag-increase nga sila ng presyo? So, parang how would he say that the pricing holds?
mm,
You see, and this is something that's very relevant to people in retail. When a manufacturer sells their product on the shelf, may markup diyan si yung retailer eh.
yeah. Mm,
And then there's also trade margins.
mm,
Right? Na parang tipong, okay, with this special terms, they will pay this, this, and that. And then there's something that we call retail marketing. 'Di ba pag pumupunta ka say sa Landmark, sa
mm,
Trinoma, 'di ba ang gaganda ng mga
yeah.
aisle nung
Mm.
mga
Yung mga
FMCG
shelves
companies.
doon, ganun.
Yeah, and those designs are not free.
Ah,
Those are paid. And you pay for marketing. Now the question is, in order for you to drive interest from your consumers, what is the type of marketing that you want to drive, right? And the battle happens not on the shelf, but actually on the minds of the consumer. Nakikita mo, di ba, there's a lot of advertisement na whether it's in TV or in YouTube or in your social media about, oh, Colgate is good, Sensodyne is good, so on and so forth. And all of those occupy the minds of the consumer. And then when they go to the shelf, they will now just pick it. And dun nagre-realize yung action.
mm,
Now, with all those that's happening, lahat yun may cost drivers.
mm,
From the time that you manufacture the commercials, from the time that you buy those times that you're in streaming in
yeah.
TV,
Mm,
in social media, in the internet, there's a corresponding price to that.
yeah, yung mga airtime nila,
The
no?
airtime,
Mm,
the production, the campaigns,
mm,
the margins that you actually give to the retailer para ipakita nila or i-front nila yung product mo dun sa consumer. Remember, I mean, if you've been going to the supermarket, 'di ba sa aisle bago sa counter makikita mo mga toothbrush
Hmm,
and
hmm,
mga chocolates, whatnot. Those are what we call impulsive buys. Na parang, "Oh,
hmm.
kailangan ko na pala palitan yung toothbrush ko. Oh, gusto ko ng candy. Oh, dapat battery pala, kailangan ko ng battery." You don't put it dun sa normal na shelf because if you put it in a normal na shelf, it will get lost with all the other items.
Mm,
So, you want to put velocity in terms of getting the product, in terms of
hmm.
getting the volume. But you have to manage the price in such a sense that the customer, when they buy it, there's a perception of value.
Yeah.
Too expensive makes you, unreachable.
Hmm,
Too cheap would say na, I'm going for, for something more expensive. So you not only that you lost the sale, but you also gave yourself a perception na
yeah.
you're of
So,
lesser
parang
value.
being too cheap is also bad. May ganung perception din, 'di
Being
ba?
too cheap is the worst.
Ah,
Being too cheap is the worst. So you can have experience so much growth. 'Di ba parang, oh, alam mo, lagi ako sold out eh.
oo,
Pinipilahan ako. Bakit? Kasi mura ka eh.
oo,
And like it's fine. If you're actually profiting from that price point.
yeah,
But the last thing that you want is that you are selling something so cheap, your margins are so razor thin,
right.
and at the end of the day, abonado ka. And what happens worse is that, especially if you have stockholders, stakeholders, at the end of the day, you will not be able to pay them.
Yes,
And that's a ripple effect.
yeah,
Kaya being too cheap, I think, is not good. And that's something that FMCG really taught me.
mm,
And sabi niya na parang, okay, so how would you actually invent the pricing?
hmm.
Dapat may ladderization.
Ladderization, I like that
Yes.
term. Okay.
There's a specific narrative. 'Di ba lahat tayo alam natin na pag when we're telling a story, there's a narrative.
Yeah.
There is a antagonist and a protagonist. Most people, they would say na, sige, my product is better than the other product. You don't want that kasi the consumers would normally say na parang, ay, lalo na if they have that, brand
Yeah.
relatability
Mhm,
to that other
mhm,
product. You don't want that. You want to actually communicate in terms of truth, in terms of facts. And what better facts that you have than your own product?
yeah.
You would say that, you know what, my product is really this good according to
Mm,
the dentist, according to the doctors,
mm,
according to science. But there's actually a better product.
hmm,
This product, I sell this by the way too.
hmm,
And this is a better formulation. We did this, so on and so forth. And that's the reason why people like us in doing fractional CFOs, we want to actually help small enterprises that are doing something breakthrough and innovative.
mhm,
Kasi at one point, bigger enterprises like Colgate, like Procter and Gamble, like Unilever, would want to buy these businesses kasi
mhm.
they're buying innovations so that they would put it as part of their product line. Their goal is actually to hype up the brand, hype up the story,
Ah,
hype up the product line.
right.
So that's where the value is coming in for the consumers and for the
Mm,
company.
I
You put
see.
this ladder na parang good, better, best, which is appropriate for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe in the good, better, best, the good is appropriate for your needs
yeah.
because your needs are this, and that. Maybe the best is the best for you because you just deserve the best,
Mhm,
'di ba?
mhm,
And you want to pay for such. Going back to finances, having that good, better, best standardization would help the CFO forecast. Okay, if I'm looking at the good, better, best, obviously I would have the volume on the good.
right.
How much volume should I drive in order for me to get this profit?
Yeah, that's margin. Yeah, oo.
Yes. And sometimes the good, better, best is in a way addressing the narrative, addressing
Mm,
the perception. Maybe the good na parang akala natin it's the good, andun pala yung makapal na margins.
hmm,
And dinadrive ka lang niya to the parang ginagawa niyang anchor yung best in order for you to purchase the good. I'll touch on another business. Have you been into a restaurant na, napaka value driven nung menu nila, no? And then at one point makakita ka ng lobster or ng steak na parang three times the value of their average price.
mhm.
And you know why they do that?
Why?
Because they want to anchor na, in this restaurant, we actually serve this good of a menu, but you have to pay this price.
Ah,
And when you look at that price, you'd say na everything else looks cheaper na.
yes. Ah, so nasa psych ka. May
Correct.
gano'n.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So, in a way, it works well both for the customers and the company. The company, because of that wonderful narrative
Mm,
of saying that, this is my product line. Mr. Consumer, Miss Consumer, take a look and
mm.
see what matches best to your needs. And from their perspective, the consumer, they would have that kind of storyline, that creativity in saying na parang, you know what, given this, I want to do this and
Mm,
that.
mm. No, I figured that out. Yeah, definitely, definitely. But that's also a huge challenge then in FMCG space. Particularly yun nga, because halimbawa magbenta ka sa mga drugstore diyan or mga beauty shops, bawat estante doon may presyo 'yan, 'di ba?
Correct.
So from your gross revenue, meron kang kung ano-anong mga marketing and other, syempre may discounts pa 'yan and all. So very important talaga that as a CFO to map out how are you going to strategize to still hit your margins.
Mm.
So ang exposure ko kasi diyan is on the e-commerce side naman kasi we have
Yes.
clients that are on e-commerce. So tama yung sinabi mo na parang akala ni business owner is, ganito na yung profit niya, pero hindi pala because ang daming ano. So, as the CFO, of course, we need to really think about how can we maximize yung profit, at least gross profit muna, so that we can really, of course, create value for the shareholders.
There's something that, the e-commerce has taught to the FMCGs.
Ano yan? Ano yan?
Pare, I'm quite sure alam na alam mo 'to, price waterfall,
Oh, yeah.
'di ba?
Sige, discuss natin yung price waterfall na yan.
So, pare, 'di ba, sa e-commerce sobrang heavy ng discounting natin. Pero alam
Yes.
natin na in terms of discounting, hindi siya para tipong one time, big time. Say for example, 8/8.
Mm,
8/8 na sale, probably during that 8/8 na sale on the first 10-15 minutes, diyan yung deepest discount.
true.
Kasi para sabihin, "O sige, at 8/8 on the first hour meron kang say 30% off." Tapos habang bumibili yan dun sa bundle merong nagki-click diyan na, ano,
Mm.
click me, add mo 'to, we will get 10 pesos off or free delivery or whatever." 'Di ba?
Oo, oo, yun nga yan.
Yung mga promotions natin na yan, diyan siya parang nag-accumulate yan and at the end of the day, yung order value, so for example, yung consumer, sabi niya, ang bibilhin ko lang diyan sa 8/8 ano, washing machine. Tapos maya-maya may microwave, may ref, alam mo yung buong
Guilty
kitchen
ako diyan.
nabibili niya, right? So,
Dumadami na yung nasa cart mo, eh.
dumadami na. And yun nga pare, in FMCG, kaya siya FMCG pare, fast moving consumer goods.
Mm,
Fast moving because you're looking at velocity. And one thing that we did better, I would say, during our time, ano siya when you are moving so fast, you want to be agile too.
mm,
The beautiful thing about CFOs partnering well with CEOs
mm,
is that they have a pulse of what's happening in the business.
mm.
And they would say na, okay, Mr. CEO, eto yung price waterfall natin. Eto yung assortment natin. Right now, dito sa assortment natin, eto yung pinakamalaking margin. Eto yung pinakamababa yung margin. And right now, according to our price waterfall, ganito kalaki yung discount na binibigay natin on an average. So, given this, eto yung pwede nating strategy.
Mm,
Very simple. Income statement, assortment, at saka price waterfall.
mm.
Very simple, you can now address kung paano mo i-strategize yung movement ng produkto mo, ng inventory mo,
Wow, wow.
right?
Lots of learnings there. Magja-jump lang ako ng konti, Sir Jared, 'no? Kasi one of the things that I truly find exciting in your career was during your term at AirAsia. Because you were at AirAsia during pandemic or parang right after the pandemic ba yun?
During the recovery pa.
During the recovery, yes, yes. So can you share with us, no, how was it? Ano yung mga naging challenges mo doon and how were you able to overcome, especially nga recovering from the pandemic? And we know that the travel industry was greatly hit during that pandemic.
Did you know that the recovery was actually the more difficult part
Mm,
than the pandemic itself for the travel industry?
why is that?
Because during recovery, everyone na who was suffering during the pandemic have hopes na, makakasingil na ako. Kasi everything's, going up and up.
Right, oo.
So, lahat ng creditors are all coming at your door. Ano ka, magbayad ka, maningil ka, magbayad ka.
Mm.
Kasi kailangan ko magbukas ng negosyo eh.
Tsaka kailangan rin nila ng pera.
Kailangan nila ng
Oo.
pera. Kailangan nila i-recover yan. And it's not just the creditors, even the government,
Of
especially
course.
the government.
Yeah.
They have their own targets, they have their own agenda in order for, to prop everything to recovery. The nightmare there was that everything is coming to you asking for money, but you don't have anything to give.
Mm,
And as you've mentioned, and this is not something na parang alien to anyone. If you would look at the news archives, you would see that airlines have declared bankruptcy left and
yeah.
right.
Mm.
And during my time, we're actually very, 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 very near to that.
And this is not a startup. This is a big company
This is
with
an
so many
airline
headcount.
with
Oh
2,500 employees.
gosh.
With
Okay.
2,500 employees. And you see, creditors, creditors, especially lessors, were coming down hard on you. They would say na, we will not let you fly our plane.
May
We will
ganun.
pull it out, ganyan. Which is rightfully so kasi di ka nakakapagbayad eh.
Mm,
During the turnaround, it's a mix of negotiating
mm,
and delivering your commitments after the negotiation. Kasi the
mm,
negotiation doesn't happen like, parang, "Oh, sige, I negotiated, in August or September,
mm,
and then that's done." No.
mm.
You negotiated in August and September, and there's a renegotiation that's happening
It's
again,
like ongoing talaga. Maraming ano yan. Oh.
ongoing, kasi it's whether you're delivering on what you've promised or not.
Mm, mm,
And as with any senior executive who got onboarded, at the middle of distress,
mm,
you have to learn the business. You have to implement decisions as you learn the business. And you
mm.
have to be accountable for those decisions. The thing is that with such very narrow leeway, for such very narrow margin of error, because I'm a few days to bingo. As in
Talaga.
like very few days to bingo.
Mm.
Puso
Affected
ko.
talaga not only AirAsia but all other even PAL, 'di ba?
But actually, PAL was actually profiting
Hmm,
during that time
okey.
because
Parang
the ano,
halos mag-file na sila ng bankruptcy din
they
nung
did.
time na yun.
They did.
They did, 'di
They
ba?
did.
Oo.
And actually, nung sinabi na, "O sige, okey lang na hindi kayo magbayad ng utang kasi restructure, so on and so forth." It it they took that opportunity to rebuild, and that's
Mm,
actually what they did.
mm.
And if you would look at airline economics, flights that are overseas
Mm,
are generally more profitable than flights local. Kasi
right.
siyempre with the short flight time na 1 hour or less, hindi kumikita yung airline dun.
Ganun ba?
Yeah.
Sabagay mahal ang gas, eh.
Yes, and isipin mo pare, 'di ba 'pag sa sasakyan na lang, start ka, patay ka ng ng
Oo,
makina, ang laki nung
oo,
nung
konsumo
kain
mo,
nung
oo.
gas. And especially during that time, and remember, that was the time na, there's that conflict in Ukraine. I wouldn't,
Yeah, yeah,
baka
yeah.
maging political tayo kapag
Oo.
may sinabi tayong ibang terminology.
Oo.
During that time, ang taas ng surge nung fuel.
Yes.
Not just because of the conflict, but also because there is a supply chain impact. Ano siya, it sent ripples across the supply chain. And everyone was vying for resources one way or another.
Hmm,
And fuel was one of the most impacted because again, it's a logistics thing. And if there's
right.
a logistics challenge,
Yeah,
normally makikita mo yung ripple effect dun sa oil
yeah,
and sa forex.
yeah.
And given that we are importing
Yes.
most of our, if not all of our oil demand,
Oo,
mas nararamdaman yun sa fuel prices
correct,
natin.
correct. Kasi ano yun, eh, importation purchases mo yun and
Correct,
then tumataas yung palitan. So, you're incurring losses,
correct.
FX loss. Yeah.
And during that time, and ito yung sinasabi ko sa FMCG, that I don't have the same luxury in
Mm,
AirAsia because AirAsia is a low-cost carrier. So we offer the most economical ticket
mm,
dun in whichever network that we fly in. 'Di ba?
mm.
If you would like to compare tickets, makikita mo yung
Yeah.
pinakamura lagi is si AirAsia.
Mm,
And we took pride in that na parang, we make travel available to everyone. That's a very challenging moment for me. Kasi as a CFO, come on, this is the pandemic. Everyone was like, skeletal na yung workforce in terms of as a executive.
mm.
As a CFO, you have to think through the hat of a commercial person,
Yes.
a marketing person, a salesperson, because you have to decide, do I give refunds?
Mm,
Do I mount campaigns? Do I give gratuities?
Mm.
Do I increase prices
Mm.
even? I use every means necessary to actually increase the cash flow coming in and to taper the cash flow going out. Here's the thing. Everyone is saying na it's the survival. The name of the game is survival. And and when it's in terms of survival, it's a very natural instinct na ako muna bago ikaw.
Oh.
Right? But in AA, we think we did something different. You see, when you're preparing for the show, there's a lot of things happening on the backstage, on the background that you have to fulfill in order for the audience to feel that they're getting their money's worth.
Yeah.
And the job of the CFO is to ensure that both the back end and the front end are well equipped to deliver in order for us to actually fly.
Yes. Kasi we CFOs are the ones na nakakakita talaga nung yung nga, front end, back end, cost impacts, profit impacts nun, di ba?
Correct. And
So,
ano siya eh,
operations.
with we are very fortunate na very supportive ang operations,
Mm.
very supportive our HR teams in in ensuring that we communicate management directives in such a manner that it would not affect employee morale.
Mm.
And whenever we try to incentivize it, sobrang ganda nung incentivization. Huge shout out kay Steve Dailisan. He was our head
Steve,
of communications sa AirAsia.
AirAsia.
He's also a pilot. So he understands, he bridges the gap of understanding between, operations, between public relations, between customer relations, and us sa finance. Good communication goes a long way. But what's most important is commitment. When you commit to a negotiation, you deliver.
Yeah.
You deliver. And if you cannot deliver, you have to have the courage to actually say it fast. That you know what, I cannot deliver.
Okay.
But here's what the solution that I can actually offer you because of this, and that.
I see. Wow. That's one hell of a story because ako as a pasahero, ang concern ko lang, gusto ko mura ang flight, on time, and syempre parang anong pangalan nito, yung experience ba hindi ganoon ka-hassle, no? So I flew last time I flew AirAsia was when I went to Boracay. So yeah, so it's a very good experience naman. But I did not realize as a passenger, ang dami palang alam mo yun, nangyayari at the back
Oo.
end. Grabe. Now let's now move forward na. So what you are doing right now. So tell us more about practical finance. How did this parang came out? What's the motivation behind this?
Practical finance, kaya ko siya sinet up. It's a very silent practice. Na parang anything practical.
Anything practical.
Anything practical. Kasi parang tipong, di ba, many people would ask my clients, they would say na, alam mo Jared, ang galing-galing ni ganito, pero hindi ko naintindihan yung sinasabi niya eh.
Oo.
Di ba? And actually, ganyan din yung sinabi sa akin nung mga una kong kliyente. Jared, alam mo, kaya kita kinuha kasi parang bilis mong kausap eh.
Oo.
Pero at
Mas
one point,
naiintindihan ka nila.
hindi. Actually,
Hindi
pare,
ba?
no, during that time, sinabi sa akin ng isang kliyente, kaya niya ako kinuha kasi nagtitiwala lang talaga siya sa akin. Pero half the time, wala siyang idea what I'm talking about.
Talaga?
Oo, pare. And that actually grounded me. Yun yung naging inspiration ko with practical finance. Na parang you just don't communicate it in a practical manner. You want to actually address the problem in a practical manner too, that they would understand. And si practical finance, because of our experience in various industries, fields, companies, enterprises, alam natin siya gawin ng pag ganito or pag ganyan ng smoother ba. But it needs a lot of explanation to explain or to make them understand the sophistication behind it and the simplicity behind it, because in every simplicity there's actually sophistication.
Yeah.
So ang tagal pare bago ko na-incorporate si practical finance. And when I say matagal, 7 years na matagal.
7 years. Wow.
7 years. And you see, yung mga clients ko nag-range siya from estate planning. Napasok ko ng life insurance dahil dyan.
Talaga?
My point here is this, no? Going through that journey in trying to address the client's problem, naging all-in-one si practical finance eh. Until such time na sabi ko na hindi maganda maging all-in-one. Dapat na certain focus ka. Kasi ilan lang ba ang Jared? Isa lang si Jared eh.
Correct.
kailangan ko din ng tao with me. But since I know the vision, I understand the vision, I have to rally them to a certain point. So, dapat mag-focus muna tayo to a certain point.
Mm.
Kaya diyan ko dinala si Practical Finance in saying na, we do strategic CFO support.
Yeah.
So, you can say na, Jared, ano ba, hindi ka ba CFO talaga? Sabi ko, well, CFO naman talaga ako.
Oh,
But the thing is, naiintindihan ko yung pain points ng mga CFOs.
yeah.
'Di ba? I can actually tell na pare ito yung kailangan mo.
Right.
I empathize with you and with your kailangan, ito yung solution na pwede kong i-offer sa'yo.
Mm.
Yan, we don't take the limelight out of you. Ikaw pa rin yung bida.
Oo.
Pero kami yung gagawa on your behalf. Then after, if things stabilize, tuturuan ka namin kung paano 'to ginawa. Hindi kami madamot.
Nice, nice.
Ganyan.
Sige, so nakita ko kasi dun sa yung WhatsApp na minessage mo sa akin, ano yun, agility in clarity or sa LinkedIn mo yata na nakita ko yun. Tapos meron kang mga specific focus, clean books,
Mhm.
ERP. Can you tell us more about yung offerings na yun on Practical Finance?
So practical finance, and the reason why it's called practical, because we say that, in every problem that you have, it's going to repeat itself again and again and again unless you fix the foundation. And we focus on foundational support, and that's the reason why sabi ko nga, ano ba pwedeng sabihin dyan? Clean books. At the end of the day, you
Kaya
need,
pala.
di ba? Everyone would argue na accounting is not sexy.
Mm-mm.
And I would say, alam mo pare, na accounting is sexy. And for me, and this is, I would, go to a personal note.
Mm-mm.
Ako, I find someone alluring kapag malinis siya eh.
Mm.
'Di ba? Good hygiene, malinis tingnan, ganyan. And for me, clean books is sexy.
Yeah.
Right?
And ako, I fully agree with you on that kasi even ngayon dito sa One CFO. By the way, Jared is one of our fractional CFOs din sa One CFO, no? So, hindi kami nagko-compete. So, we actually complement each other. Every time may lalapit sa amin, syempre, I cannot, I think na-experience mo rin yun, you cannot give strategic finance guidance or insights kung yung pinaka-fundamental, which is yung libro is hindi maayos, hindi malinis, 'di ba?
Correct, correct.
Kaya honestly, 'pag may nare-receive akong gano'n na mga potential clients or inquiries, kaya nanganak din si One CFO, meron kaming bookkeeping tax services. Initially wala kaming gano'n, talagang CFO services lang yung ginagawa namin. Pero what I've seen, a lot of SMEs kasi, yun yung problema. Malinis ang libro kung may libro. Meron pa nga diyan walang libro.
A lot of them. A lot of
Oo.
them.
Yun.
And if I may say this, no, pare, alam natin to, in our profession, 80% of our queries comes from where? LOA.
LOA, that's true.
'Di ba? BIR audits, ganyan. Lalapit yung kliyente kasi may ino-audit na siya ng BIR. Kapag nandiyan na yung LOA at nandiyan na si BIR na kumakatok, that's the time na, you know what, namomroblema na sila.
Yeah.
And sabi ko sa client ko, you don't really want to reach that phase.
Mm.
What we want to do is we want to give you support in helping you clean your books. Kasi, pare, for me, dalawa yan eh. There's what you do now moving forward, and yung iba, yung alam mo yung tipong accountant na talagang tina-trace mo kung ano yung nangyari nung sa simula.
Yeah, oo.
Yun yung ginagawa namin, pare. That's our expertise. Na parang, kasi for sure, sabi ay, we're doing things right na eh. So, okay. So, that's fine. But in order for you to actually close your books well, you had to open your books to a clean balance ba?
Yeah,
You have to clean the past.
true.
If you want to migrate effectively into any
Any
ERP,
yeah.
you want to have clean books.
Yeah.
You want to do AI agents, you want to do automation,
Yeah,
you want to have clean books. Kasi garbage in, garbage out.
correct.
Yan. Kaya doon kami pumapasok.
Nice. Totoo yan kasi ako, I fully support you on that. And also, I think one of the reasons kaya medyo, kami sa One CFO, of course, we are also a CFO tech platform and we're building tech products here. And what we have noted in the SME space, dahil hindi accurate yung libro, hindi rin accurate yung nilalabas ng AI.
Correct.
Diba? Tanungin mo yung AI mo na, okay, sino na ba yung mga kailangan kong bayaran in the next 7 days? Posibleng may ilabas siya, posibleng pero mali. Ibig sabihin, garbage in, garbage out, mali yung pagkakapasok, mali yung pagkakalagay ng due date, o kaya yung simpleng simpleng hindi kumpleto. Kasi maraming off-balance sheet, off P&L yung mga SMEs, alam mo na. Yun yung nagiging problem na. Ngayon, kapag naka-receive ng LOA, diyan na nag-i-start na
Yeah.
parang they realize now the need to have really clean books. Kasi defending a LOA sa mga listeners po natin, actually dapat hindi naman kayo dapat matakot diyan eh kasi it all boils down to really good documentation. Kung if you have all the documentations naman that you can show to the BIR, then you have nothing to worry about, di ba?
Correct.
So it's just defending yung ano natin. Sige.
Yes.
So dun sa practical finance, Jared, can you share with us ano-anong mga industries na yung mga clients niyo past and present so far?
Actually, we have a diverse set, no? In practical finance, di ko masyado 'tong ina-advertise, but we
Mm.
actually support aircraft valuation din.
Oh, wow.
Yes, aircraft valuation, asset advisory.
Oo.
Hindi natin siya ina-advertise kasi again, we
Mm.
focus on the SME market.
Mm.
And going to the SME market, we have real estate,
Mm.
we have food and beverage, we have a hotel,
Hospitality, yan.
hospitality, and we have a payment platform. We have a payment
Talaga?
gateway.
Wow.
Yes. So, ano siya, and they would
Very
ask,
diverse, no?
very diverse.
Agnostic, oo.
And we would say na parang tipong, lahat naman sila mukhang masaya.
Mm.
Kasi we have engaged a couple of holding companies na. That's the reason why malaking we have a very diverse set of industries kasi dalawang holding company na yung nahawakan natin. And the thing is that in order for you to transition into something that's worthy,
Mm.
you have to have a very good understanding of your base.
Mm.
Kaya nga agility and clarity eh.
Mm.
If you are clear on what's happening in your business, past and
Mm.
present, both past and present. And say for example na parang accounting services firm, they're only concerned in doing it moving forward.
Yeah, yeah.
But in order for you to understand what really went wrong, you have
Mm.
to look at your records in the past. And
Oo.
remember, si BIR,
Past
tina-trace ko
yan eh.
niyan.
Oo.
5 years yan.
Yeah. So, hindi po porket na ayos nyo na yung libro ninyo this year, hindi na kayo pwedeng balikan ni BIR dun sa last year nyo. So, dapat nga unahin yung ayusin nyo. Basta yung mga pwede pang ma-serve ni BIR ng LOA, yun yung, I agree kay Jared na kailangan ayusin nyo yun. Now, Jared, so we do have this segment no in this season 2 that we ask our guests, let's get real questions no. Kasi one CFO kwentuhan is about really transparency, authenticity, and providing real solutions. So my question to you is, many entrepreneurs chase growth relentlessly and sometimes at any cost.
Mm.
From your perspective, especially seeing both turnarounds and hypergrowth, what's the most dangerous misconception about growth itself that often leads to business into financial trouble and scaling too fast, mga ganyan?
Growing at breakneck speed has two consequences. First is you're not really profiting because you're chasing so much growth.
Mm.
And chasing so much growth, maybe at a variable cost level, you are profiting,
Mm.
but you're not accounting with the fixed cost
Mm.
of the incremental cost that comes along with it. And remember, people contracts are hooking you in to get you
Mm.
inside there. Pero once you look at it from, from a long-term point of view, it doesn't look so profitable na.
Right.
And this is very dangerous, especially for businesses that are chasing the hype. Di ba yung mga uso ngayon na viral,
Oo.
ganyan. I mean, pare, go nuts, donuts.
Oo nga, no? Biglang wala, no?
Right? And at that time, pinipilahan yan pare
Yes.
dito sa gateway, di ba? So, that's one thing that you would like to look at na maybe you have money in the bank, but is that your supplier's money or is that your money?
Mm.
Right?
That's a very good analogy.
You're growing at breakneck speed and you're thinking na, I have the capacity to buy this, and that.
Mm.
And you're on a spending spree,
Yeah, one day millionaire ka ngayon. Ganyan.
right? And then you neglect your finance.
That's true. That's true.
And that's where when you neglect your finance, you're also neglecting your regulatory requirements.
Yeah.
Pero there is actually a fintech company na ni-revoke ng SEC yung license
License.
to operate because they were opening branches even though they were not actually yet authorized to do so.
Okay.
So that's another example.
Yeah. So
You
that's basically there's a pressure siguro to grow so fast that they are not really parang na-overlook siguro nila yung compliance and governance side of things, no? Kasi BSP yan, eh.
yeah.
Diba? So, sige. So, second to the last question before we wrap this up. So, Jared, looking ahead, what do you think is the one big financial trend or potential challenge that Philippine entrepreneurs should be actively getting ready for right now to make sure their businesses recovers and grows for the long term? Having seen many industries, the market trend right now, ano yung kailangan nilang maging ready?
At the end of the day, pare, cash is always king.
Of course.
And I would say that how much emergency cash that you have
Mm,
versus what's on your pipeline.
mm,
Because at the end of the day, you would say na parang it goes even beyond services. You need your customer pipeline even if in FMCG,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
especially in FMCG because you want to move inventory eh. And how do you get that customer pipeline? It's a bit different lang.
Mm,
You want to have your steady course of marketing. And
mm,
you want your stores ready na para okay, these stores are well supplied, alam mo na ba dyan sila bumibili, and
mm,
you're actually reminding them to buy.
yeah.
And I'll tell you why so important the emergency cash, no? And they were actually laughing at me. So emergency cash is not something na para tipong, 'di ba, it's a very popular concept
Mm,
in personal finance na
mm,
you should have 6 months
yeah,
of
emergency fund, ganyan.
yan. And even in business too, pare. I would say na you should have emergency cash for 3 months to bingo.
Yeah.
Not relying on your suppliers to fund you, but you being able to fund yourself
Mm,
if something goes wrong. And for other companies, they actually extend beyond 3 months. Pero
mm,
syempre, for SMEs, I think it's a bit heavy to even
right.
ask for 6 months. Eh.
Mm,
So she said 3 months.
mm,
And why 3 months? If your sales pipeline goes down or bunkers,
mm,
you have enough time to pivot and say na, okay, I'll maybe sell this part of the business or I'll pivot to this source, ganyan.
mm,
3 months because it gives ample time for your staff that if you have to lay them off,
mm,
you have that ample time in telling them that you know what, I can give you employment right now.
mm,
And you can sever it in such a way that you're not actually giving them a much more difficult time than what they should be
mm,
having.
mm,
You're giving them that dignity.
mm,
And lastly, having that 3 months, especially if you're actually placing your money quite well,
mm.
it's giving you interest income.
That's true. That's true.
So
Yeah.
that's actually very good discipline in terms of balancing the requirements of your business.
Mm,
And at the same time, you're assured na even if you're going at breakneck speed, you have 3 months in the bank capable of
mm,
financing your working capital.
mm,
You have that kind of agility to actually pursue because as business
yeah.
people, we are parang kaya nga tayo sa negosyo kasi
Yeah.
we have more appetite for risk
Yeah, yeah. And
right?
having that also 3 months worth of working capital for me also enhances your relationship with your bank or whoever is the financial instrument provider, di ba? Yun po, mapapansin niyo no, the advice of Jared is really about cash and that's really yun ang trabaho namin as CFO, making sure that the business really has cash to make it afloat, to make it really, be able to survive, no? And in the ano of the pandemic kasi, for me, that's number one learning, no? 3 months, nag-lockdown nga tayo for more than 3 months, eh, no? So sige, Sir Jared, so please give your final thoughts to our listeners and watchers and invite them to Practical Finance.
So, practical finance actually is a very modern business. So we go anywhere. I would actually invite
Mm.
everyone to visit our LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
and come to our events. So we do events in conjunction with BNI. I'm a member of
Oh,
BNI,
yeah.
of the BNI community. And of course, the Association of CPAs for Sustainability.
Mm.
And one of our newest ventures, which is Kapili Trading Circular
Mm.
Economy. And we are actually going to launch a series of community engagements
Mm.
where practical finance is enabling them.
Mm.
So here sa Practical Finance, we don't really go for the limelight, but we are actually a lighthouse. We are a
Mm,
lighthouse that actually shines the shores on where you would like to navigate your business in. So we're just there, giving you the light.
yeah.
Just
Oh,
find me in LinkedIn, Jared Valarao.
yes.
Uh,
Daming followers nito. Follow niyo siya. You learn a lot. Yeah.
Jared at practicalfinance.solutions if you want to email me.
Okay, thank you so much. So, that was a powerhouse of insights, mga kakwentuhan. No? One amazing episode, really. So, maraming salamat, paring Jaren, for your time and for genuinely helping kakwentuhans understand how to navigate financial challenges and drive growth. So, sa ating mga kakwentuhan, please like and follow Jared Valarao on LinkedIn and also Practical Finance. And remember, you're not alone in facing challenges in business and finance. Kwentuhan is here for you. So, make sure you also like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast. So hanggang sa susunod na kwentuhan, peace!